side. It is a little heartbreaking, but it's not over. They'll come onto the buy in the next round. They'll have the opportunity. They get 2,400 from this one, so the buy again won't be fantastic, but they will have kind of the bare necessities that they need. This round, though, if they can at least do some damage, that would be a massive help overall, because it's only really 3 players who've managed to build up any economy on that Team Vitality side. So it could keep them in a spot where, obviously, if they do get that next gun round, at that point, they could potentially even force Vitality onto the eco, which this late in the game, they obviously couldn't afford.
Vitality still have to play this round out, making sure they don't run into the stack, because sometimes those USPs can be surprisingly damaging, but I don't think it's going to matter this time, because if you take a look at the minimap, Vitality have got this one figured out. They're on the A site, they've pushed into CT spawn, so this is going to be a nothing round. Perhaps a chance for compLexity and Vitality to discuss what they're going to do in one of the upcoming rounds at this point, because once the bomb gets planted, I think everyone realizes what's happened here. compLexity are just sticking on the B site right now, I guess maybe hoping that their opponents get a bit too eager to go hunting when they maybe don't need to. But it is going to be the lead for Vitality in a very, very close game here. That nade should do damage. This is going to be a slaughter. Easy kills. 1 kill on the round comes in from Rush, but that is it. Quick cleanup for Vitality. And this buy from compLexity, it's not going to be perfect, like we were saying.
No, that's been an issue for them for quite a while now on the CT side. The last few buys that they've actually been able to pull out, the one that they get here will probably be one of the stronger ones, because we had the previous one having couple MP9s and a FAMAS in it. This time, at least, if they want, they can go for the full rifles. But obviously, in that case, they do then have to sacrifice in terms of the utility. So I wouldn't mind if maybe 1 or 2 players do decide to go for a bit of a weaker weapon. Maybe even Poison pulls out a Scout, a weapon that we know he is very capable with. You can see, though, compLexity definitely discussing it, because they realize this round, at this point, is pretty much do or die. If they lose this, they're on an investment with probably just some pistols. In the next round they get, what, 2,900, so it's not going to give them enough for really anything apart from maybe SMGs if they wanted. And as we pointed out before, it is being the map choice of compLexity. It's not one that they want to let slip away.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of teams struggling on their own map picks, though, in these recent tournaments. So maybe compLexity can bounce back. We'll wait and see. But right now, it's all Mirage, and it's all to play for heading into round 28. Obo playing on this A bomb site. It's been pretty solid so far on the CT side, at the very least. Mid control here being fought for by compLexity. Config's in a fairly committed position at top mid, but I think he's now deciding to play a bit safer down where he's got a bit more cover. So it's 3 CTs all focused on mid right now, but for Vitality, a very slow start to the round, not taking much map control to begin with.
No, a very different approach to what we've seen them go for the previous time when they knew the buy was a bit weaker for compLexity. We just had them rush straight out ramp, trying to abuse the fact that they probably wouldn't have those Molotovs and such to actually stop those quick pushes, as well as flashes and everything. This time, keeping the pressure on compLexity, making them instead use some of their utility potentially in just positions where there could be some pressure being thrown. But mostly at the moment, it is just for them to actually try and find some info around mid, which they don't really get a lot of. I mean, they spot there's no one there, but there is still some players now coming out through under. BlameF actually is able to get one, fortunately, from up on short. It does get traded back by Apex, but as the hit begins to come in towards the A-bomb site as well, compLexity are the ones finding more success.
And the time could become a factor here. 25 seconds left in this round. They've spotted Obo on the site, but they haven't spotted Rush. His position is going to pay off for him. Quick kill onto Masuta, and Apex and ZywOo have got to make their minds up. 13 seconds. Can they really win this round? They're going to go for it. They're going to throw the Hail Mary, but it's not going to happen for them. compLexity with a solid shutdown on the A site, a lockdown on the A-bomb site for them. They get to save an AWP as well, so the economy issues that they were facing previously should start to become less of an issue now, as we're all tied up. We're going the distance in this game. It's just a question of who is going to get the chance to close it out in regulation. Ooh,
Yeah, I mean,
Shox has got this Mac 10. He had money for an AK.
Yeah, I was going to say interesting approach because of that. Not only did he have money himself, he could have been dropped one over by 2 other players if they really wanted to. So it definitely implies that you're going to see a faster strategy, especially with 4 players already grouped up towards the B apartments. And for the moment, only Obo on this B bomb site with a single smoke to try and hold it down. If he doesn't manage to at least get a couple of kills here, they could be in trouble. But he starts it off well. Good damage on shocks that really denies him from being able to put too much pressure on with that Mach 10 anymore. Instead, it is the rifles leading the way, and they still find the opening. I was going to say if Obo can waste a bit more time, it would have been perfect. But we should at least see this bomb now going down for Vitality, and I think compLexity, if they don't get a kill within a couple of seconds, they've kind of just got to save this one.
Yeah, I think they were just sitting back and seeing if Vitality would push and give them the opportunity for a kill to start that retake, but as soon as that doesn't happen, they've gone for the save call. And Obo started that off so well with that defensive smoke. He stayed alive for a fair amount of time there at the back of the bomb site, but then eventually he just decided he wanted to try and take the fight. He just wanted to try and take matters into his own hands, and Masuta was ready for it, just holding the angle. He saw where the smoke was placed. He saw the angle that was most likely for Obo to peek from. Obo decides to try and make the play, and it doesn't pay off this time round. So Vitality's fast B aggression works out for them, and compLexity are stuck saving for the last round of regulation.
I agree with it, though. It gives them the chance to fight into the overtime, which we said would have been difficult otherwise because of how low the economy is. They are able to drop a weapon over to Obo, who's the only man who went down, obviously, and with that, we do see an overall very strong investment. One of the stronger gun rounds they've had. They have plenty of utility. Poison is probably going to go ahead and, of course, as you'd imagine, buy up the utility for himself in a moment as well. So they have everything they need to make this happen, but I don't know, man. It's so far on this T side, Vitality, after kind of getting off to a poor start, once they got their economy rolling again, it was very similar to what we've seen on the CT side. They just controlled the gun round.
Something we haven't really talked about is that ZywOo, in terms of kills, maybe hasn't been as hot as we were expecting. I think he still had a lot of impact rounds, though. And he's got the ult there.
60 in frags, 70 in deaths. It's not a bad game by him by any means, but it's a bad game by him.
Exactly.
You know? To ZywOo standards, you do expect more, but you also want his teammates to be stepping up, which you're getting from RPK and Apex, so that is a good sign. It means that going into the rest of the series, even if they don't get the win here, if he is able to take it up a notch, then we can see compLexity struggling on a whole nother level. Right now, though, Rush actually finds a double kill as they try and approach out Palace. RPK pulls one back quickly, but they're going to have to spend some time now getting that bomb, which is still up there.
Oh, that's taken so much time. BlameF is now set up in CT spawn, but I think they've given enough room for the bomb. No, they haven't. Poison lands the shot over from short, and that could be the death sentence in this round because it's a 2v4 to come back from. RPK and ZywOo should be able to get the bomb down shortly. ZywOo keeping his teammates safe, and they'll try and play this one out.
I mean, they do have the bomb down, at least, of course, and planted for their position, so it gives them the chance to try and play off of it, but as long as compLexity look to move in together, they have a smoke, they have a molly, they have flashes as well to make this as difficult as possible for ZywOo and RPK. So they're going to need to hit at least some spectacular shots, and already RPK not really able to get any shots off. It's all onto ZywOo, a man that we said can be incredible, but a 1v4 is probably a bit too much to ask of him at this point. They're already sticking that bomb as well. Tries to step out and see what he can do about it, but BlameF says nothing. So there it is. We're actually going to be getting the overtime now. compLexity, they struggled to chain rounds together apart from those initial 5 there on the CT side, so I'm still definitely worried for them now coming into the overtime, but I think they should look a little bit better in general because of course, not having to worry about the money as much. Unless it gets to round 3 and they've lost the first 2, then they're screwed.
Yeah, that's something to consider. That round at the end there, though, obviously not much that ZywOo and RPK can do, and they're coming out swinging here, right back into the action. They want to make sure they can make up for that, but BlameF has pushed all the way into Palace. RPK just gets absolutely caught off guard by that. I don't know how BlameF got there so quickly, but it's Vitality who take the early deficit off these trades. Not any longer, though. Apex has got a second kill. Masuta with one of his own. And this has gone horribly wrong for compLexity after such a great start to the round. It's still doable, though. Brought back into the 2v2 by Obo. And Vitality don't look confident here as they move into this A site. They know that they're vulnerable, and config gets the kill from short, leaving it up to the main man, ZywOo.
I am not sure what happened to that connector smoke, but that has just cost potentially Vitality this round. As I said, that was ZywOo. A quick mortar towards the mortar hull. Config, though, follows up. He had been chilling in that smoke itself in connector. So we do see compLexity finding the opening round here, which is something that I think they needed for their kind of morale now to kick off this overtime. But a crazy round altogether. Just continuously back and forth. Vitality, it was kind of surprising they were even able to fight back into that one after compLexity got such a strong start, shutting down that initial attempt at the A room.
Yeah, compLexity sticking with this double AWP setup as well. Config was able to land some shots last round, and he does again here. Good shot to start this one. Gets the angle at top mid. Masuta wasn't ready for it. There is a Vitality player close to connector, but Shox taking a bit of damage there. BlameF needs to be careful. The push coming in, but he turns around just in time. compLexity up to a two-man lead, and it's desperation stations for Vitality. Good shot from RPK, but again, it's ZywOo, and this time it's not a 1v2, it's a 1v3. Now it's a 1v2, though. First shot is good onto Config. That bomb on stairs is so awkward for him, though.
Yeah, I mean, the retriever either has to go across Tetris or else go around and up the steps, and that's going to take quite a bit of time for him to do, obviously leaving him relatively exposed. For the moment, though, compLexity not really being in positions to work off of each other. They're just holding really passively. They're probably going to let him get it if he wanted to, and at that point, just try and play together for the retake if needed. And you can see neither of them, but all right, I mean, ZywOo, he's got to make a move soon. He's really hoping that someone's going to make a mistake, and that normally is the way you want to play these situations, but compLexity, as I said, just being extremely patient.
He also doesn't have a pistol as his secondary. He's only got the Glock, so it has to be the AWP, and the angle is unexpected. Obo gets the wallbang headshot. ZywOo not able to predict that position, so compLexity up to that 17-15 lead. Again, ZywOo looking lively in the clutch attempts, but he's left with too much to do in these rounds, sadly. And so compLexity should be on course for at least the 17 rounds they've already got, but perhaps the 18 rounds, perhaps the clean sweep from this CT side, because there's one or two weaknesses in the Vitality buy. ZywOo's only got a Galil, which is always a shame to see. And they also have some nades missing on the T side, so something to take into account as we head into the last round of this first half of overtime.
Yeah, it definitely could be a limiting factor, but Vitality, I mean, they have the main things that they need to make this at least a round they can work with, and right now they have the chance to maybe actually catch some aggression, and indeed, two players ready to peek under together. BlameF gets the fright of his life, most likely, and unfortunately goes down without really being able to deal out any damage either, so this is a really strong position now for Vitality to be in. If they can manage to recover this one round here on the T side, I think that's definitely enough for them to actually work with, or at least to give them a position where they're feeling pretty secure with, at very least bringing it to another overtime. But let's see, I mean, we've seen a couple of cases already where compLexity have been able to recover positions that we didn't expect from them. And right now, Vitality, they're grouping up to bring this over towards B, where we are seeing a bit more of an aggressive hold from these two compLexity players, trying to actually hold up towards the apartments. Obo gets a double, which does initially drop the bomb and potentially delay. Unfortunately, though, Config, he goes straight down. And with still some utility in play, they should be pretty secure to get this bomb planted.
Rush wasn't able to get the initial angle. Apex, though, in position. Poison goes jumping out straight to his death. And even though Rush has to try this clutch, his chances are very, very slim at this point. Flash goes through. He dodges away from it. Another flash to follow. They've spotted his position. Rush taking a bit of damage even. And Vitality just aren't giving him anything here. No fair fights for him. Masuta finally goes for it and takes away the round. So Vitality salvage one round on their T side there at the end of the half. Getting onto the B side of the map. I think mainly, though, it came down to getting that opening pick. Because compLexity did have two players stacked on B. It wasn't a bad initial hold from them, especially with Obo getting those 2 kills. But because Vitality already had the earlier advantage, once they traded onto B, they were good to go.
Yeah, and probably if they didn't have a position compLexity there where they were feeling already under pressure, I don't think Config would have continued to fight it quite as aggressively after Obo got that double. I think he would have been more like, okay, that's good work, I'm going to just hold off and see if I can delay till my teammates rotate in, and that could have put them in a better position. But yeah, compLexity swapping over to the T side, they were able to get 2 on CT at least, and obviously they did have a relatively decent T side when you look at the scoreline, but when it came to those gun rounds, as we said, it was Vitality that definitely looked like the better side, so I do still think that there's hope here. If you're a French fan, But also compLexity, I mean, they try and shut me up quickly. Poison specifically finds one player on that pixel angle. It's ZywOo who actually goes down early in the B apartments. So that is not a good start for the side of Team Vitality. Ooh, Apex was quite close actually on that spray.
Yeah, not a bad attempt. Wow.
What the hell?
Did he just step into the volley?
Yeah, I don't think he realized. I think he was kind of holding the window, trying to step back and see if he could get the angle where he'd be able to see a head pop up over the top of it, but ended up stepping in the molly, and it done damage real quick.
Masuuta's playing the same position again. He got 1 kill here last time. He might need more this time round, and Poison has not got away with this. Masuuta goes back for more. 2 kills on the hold, and now it's up to Shox to lock down the bomb site. That might have to take some close quarters fights here, which won't be too favorable for him. But compLexity have slowed it down in this 3v3. That gives time for Vitality to maybe rotate, and RPK pushing mid. BlameF's got the flank on toward him. 28 seconds and the kills keep on coming. Rush closes it out with both kills from Palace, and it is compLexity who finally get themselves up to map point.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming for them, but this is what they wanted. It is their map choice. You'd expect them to be coming in and getting the win, but it's been an extremely close one so far, and I'm still not going to count out the CTs. Of course, they have a pretty solid investment, going over to the double op setup between ZywOo and Shox, and of course, they'll be the ones this time who look to see if they can instead actually find an early open, and obviously giving it away to Poison in that previous round was what ended up making it very costly in the end. Weren't able to recover from it, but again, Poison finds an open, and this time it's on towards Shox, actually over towards Connector. Looking to spam away and see if he can find that short aggression as well. If ZywOo was another couple feet actually out into the open, he could have been in trouble. But yeah, compLexity, now that they have this early advantage, they still have 1.5 minutes remaining. They don't need to really rush their decision about where they're going to commit to. They can hold. Of course, it's Vitality who'll be feeling the pressure to maybe aggress somewhere to get some info, or at least to try and pull back a kill. In the meantime, though, having left the B bomb site, it looks like they're probably going to lose it completely.
Yeah, Vitality were the ones who felt like they needed to make a call here, maybe needed to take a gamble, and that stack onto A is not going to be the correct call. ZywOo should hear these nades onto B shortly, but I don't know how much he's going to be able to do about this. With the AWP in hand, maybe he can get 1 or 2 kills, but the smokes are already here. The flashes to follow. compLexity have got access. Nice shot from ZywOo. There is a gap in that smoke, but I'm not sure if ZywOo can make the most of this. The bomb is about to be planted, and Obo's getting a bit cheeky in kitchen here, looking to see if he can sniff out one of these players and try and cut off the retake before it begins.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to go any further forward, though, knowing that there could be a player holding. It's actually Config who just gets everything done, apparently finds the quad kill. My auto-director was not watching him, but he just manages to sweep up with all 4 kills that were needed to close it out. Not sure if they were all headshots, but either way, that was incredible. A fantastic matchup, compLexity. They come out on top of their own map choice, as I said, but it was a close one overall, and I do think that there's still the opportunity for Vitality to come back into this series.
Yeah, close map to kick things off. Exactly what we wanted to see, but it is compLexity who get the win on their map pick. We'll see if they can carry it through onto the next one after the break.